The bizarre search for Eric Trist moves from the hills to the bunkers.
I find that really disturbing to think that, there's people actually living down here.
His brother wonders where they'll find him and fears the worst.
Hopefully not the morgue or hospitals.
In South Australia, a high-tech kickstart to an old case.
Wow, that's what Christine may look like now, 9 years on.
Her best friend is compelled to make this heartfelt plea.
People care about you and love you and just want to know where you are.
On the rugged New South Wales coast,
we're just going to stick in close to these rocks here and so we can have a good look.
The search for missing Victorian Ron Anderson enters dangerous waters.
We've got 4 vessels out. Hopefully we'll better find something.
And where is 63-year-old Robert Gilmore?
We're going to find him.
His wife of 35 years just wants him home.
Please, if anybody's out there and you see my husband, bring the police. Straight away, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, I was after Mr. Stanley Trist, thanks.
At the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit, Gary's on the phone to missing man Eric Trist's brother, Stanley.
The last sort of time we seen him was at our father's funeral, which was in February the 16th, and he lives at Pagewood above a hotel there, the Pagewood Hotel.
Yeah, know that one, yep.
They said he hadn't paid his rent since March, which is like 2 weeks after Pop died.
Eric, who lived with his dad for 50 years, disappeared 6 months ago, just after his father died.
Then how did he take it when Dad died?
Yeah, well, he was always with him. And I guess, well, if he needed any money or anything, he always went to Pop to get it.
Yeah, well, I suppose he was obviously reasonably close with him then, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll come out and see you and see what we can work out, mate.
Okay, mate.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Bye. He's rang all the other relatives and mates and no one's sort of come across him at all. It's a bit out of character, I suppose. No one's heard from him. Hopefully we can locate him.
Meanwhile, at Port Stephens, on the New South Wales coast, there's been a harrowing development in the ongoing search for missing sailor Ron Anderson. Police are investigating the report that a body's been seen floating near a local beach.
I'm not sure how reliable the information is. It's only been one call as far as I'm aware.
Last week in the case, the Missing Persons Unit spoke with Ron's wife after she hadn't heard from him for 2 weeks.
He was ringing me every day and I was there backing him up with, sending warm clothing when he got stuck in the hall.
Oh, okay.
And, the money when he needed it.
Things looked even more grim when water police found Ron's yacht drifting off the coast.
This doesn't look like there's been anyone on board for a couple of days.
But despite a forensic investigation, police found nothing. Just as all looked lost, a canvass of the fishing club brought some hopeful news.
It'll be the gentleman you had a beer with? Okay.
He looked happier when I saw him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Club records confirmed that Ron had been here, but what happened next is the real mystery.
There's no definite information as to where he might be at the moment, where he's gone. They haven't seen him since, and so it's back to square one.
That was until police got the call about the body in the water.
Got down here straight away. We've got the jet skis doing a patrol at the moment.
But after today's search, police realised the report is just a cruel hoax.
It's
a furphy.
It's looking like a dodgy call, yeah.
Someone just with a sick mind to waste your time.
Police quickly traced the call to this phone booth just around the corner.
It's got dial tone, so the phone is working. People in the shop said they didn't see anyone use it, but they couldn't be sure.
It's an absolute joke that someone would ring up about something like that. We're just going to make further inquiries.
Meanwhile, back on the search for Eric Trist, Gary's on his way to interview his brother, Stanley.
Initially, when I seen this case, I sort of didn't think much in it, but, I'm starting to sort of think now that, maybe there's a little bit more in it, whether Eric's become sick or something, or why he's disappeared. I just don't know. I've got an open mind on this case. Stanley, how you going? Yeah, Gary Bailey from Missing Person, and that's Doug.
G'day, there you go.
How was he at the funeral? He was sort of...
Probably would have hit him maybe a fraction harder because he actually lived with Pop up till 90. So, like a 50-year-old man and a 90-year-old father,
and they lived in a flat, like, together. And then my sister had to take over looking after Pop, so he moved out. So it might have affected him harder, you know.
And did he sort of talk about anything then that about his job and that? Apparently,
he wasn't having much luck with his job. He'd been there for a while, and they were moving. And
yeah.
Stanley rang police after his own efforts to find his brother came to nothing.
But actually, I tried to ring the other brother. He actually works in the timber business too,
But after 6 long months, his brother is trying hard to stay positive.
And I don't think he'd go out to the country. He'd be in the eastern suburbs somewhere. Hopefully not the morgue or hospitals.
Meanwhile, in the search for missing Victorian sailor Ron Anderson, after the phone hoax, there's some good news.
Do you know what date you got off the boat?
Police have finally made contact with the last person to see Ron alive, his deckhand, Greg Turnbull.
You refused to go further north on the journey with him, and you've got off the boat at Shoal Bay. That's when you decided you were leaving, yeah? In your opinion, it wasn't seaworthy to continue.
The deckhand tells police he quit because Ron refused to fix his yacht. He then went to Sydney and Ron stayed on board alone.
Thanks very much for that, Greg. Okay then, bye. The information that we were given from the witnesses on board the other vessel all checks out. The only question is, where's Mr. Anderson now?
Back in Sydney's west, 4 hours into the search for missing man Eric Trist, Gary and Doug are hoping for a lead at the hotel where the 54-year-old lived.
I was just here in relation to Mr. Trist. Apparently he stopped here for a while, did he? He did. Did you sort of see him when he was going, or he just sort of tripped overnight?
Just gone. He disappeared. Last I saw him.
Did he leave some gear in that here? And
downstairs, I got some. He cleaned out most of his room. But there is some paperwork. There's 2 empty suitcases and bits and pieces downstairs you can have a look at.
Just try and find any paperwork or something, you know, anything that might give us a guide as to where he's gone to, you know.
Does that look like a where he used to work for? 2001.
Gary's found some of Eric's old bills and invoices, but no real clues to what happened to the unemployed labourer.
He may just make a decision to cut and run.
But just as it's all going cold, this man shows up with information.
There are 2 guys that have a beer up the other pub there every weekend. Yep. And I think it was last weekend they made mention of, have you seen Eric? Is he still living down the pub? Yep. And I think it was Joe said, yeah, I did. He doesn't look real good.
It's a crucial lead. And if he is sick, time may be running out.
All right. Thanks very much, mate. Good on you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for your
luck.
They need to find him fast. But the question is, where? At the same time, on the New South Wales coast, the search for 73-year-old sailor Ron Anderson enters a new phase.
The comms will be through you, unless your comms aren't working properly.
Police divers are about to comb the area where Ron's yacht was found abandoned.
Once they reach the bottom, they'll slowly increase the radius around the mooring block. And when they get back to their mark where they started, they'll turn there and they'll let more line out and continue the radius around. And basically it's an ever-increasing circle until we've covered the area.
Surface diver 1. And what's your current water temperature and current depth? Yeah, copy that. What is your visibility?
Surface visibility 3 to 4 metres.
Copy that, diver 2, 3 to 4 metres, carry on.
If divers do find a body down here, this idyllic bay may become a crime scene. Back in Sydney, Gary and Doug are checking local pubs for Eric Trist.
It's probably a bit older than that. You could probably tack some years on it. It's about 8 years old, that photo. But,
have you seen this person at all?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, okay.
I haven't, to be honest, mate.
You don't recognise him?
No.
All right.
It looks like another dead end.
Have you seen him, this person?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
Until this.
The face has changed a little bit fuller. And the hair's longer, and last time I remember seeing him, it was actually wavy.
Suddenly, this watering hole becomes a fountain of information.
Yeah, I know him.
Property's name's Eric Trist.
He's a mate of mine.
Oh, you know her, do you?
Yep. Lately he's been angry in Malabar and he's been living rough in the bush. I think he was living under the boats when the big storms were on. He was somewhere to hide overnight.
Eric is a city boy, and if he has been living in the bush, he could be in trouble.
A couple of chaps reckon they've seen him around the Malabar area, so we're going to go up there. They reckon he's doing it tough, and if that's the case, well, we better find him pretty soon.
Meanwhile, back in the search for the Victorian sailor...
Service to both divers, 5 bells, 5 bells.
Yeah, number 1, number 2, 5 bells, copy.
Copy that, diver 1, 2 to Cairns.
After 2 hours of trawling the seabed, divers looking for Ron Anderson surface empty-handed.
Nothing of interest located. Just rubbish and a bit of debris and sea life.
Oh, it's good news that he's not here, yeah. So hopefully he's on shore somewhere, still alive.
With no sign of Ron in the area, Water Police and Rescue decide to extend the search.
This is our area of operation, so that's Port Stephens headland there, down to Anna Bay. It's an area of about 10 to 15 nautical miles, so it's a big area for us to search. If we need to look at an area which is inaccessible by boat, we'll drop them on the land and they're going to go in and have a look for us. As you're aware, this is all rocky area here. Lots of nooks and crannies that people might be able to get washed up into or dinghies might have gone up to and people wouldn't be aware. That search should take us all morning. After that, we're going to then concentrate on some of the islands that are off the coast that haven't...
Even though Ron has now been missing for 3 weeks,
let's go.
There's no way police will give up the search. In Port Stephens, on the New South Wales coast, police have now intensified their search for missing Victorian sailor Ron Anderson.
We're trying to get as close to the rocks as we can just to search for either Mr. Anderson or his tender.
Truth is that after 3 weeks, this may be their last throw of the dice.
We've got 4 vessels out doing what we're doing at the moment, so hopefully we'll better find something.
We've had some test cases, if you like, where people have gone missing before from the similar sort of area. The currents have taken those people to the areas where we're going. So we're just relying on probably previous incidents and hopefully, we'll be able to locate something today.
But with the currents the way they are, if Ron has fallen overboard, he could be anywhere.
If you drown, you will go down to the bottom and then in some days after you'll resurface for a period of time and then you'll probably then disappear and more than likely not resurface.
Their best hope is that Ron has somehow made it to one of these nearby islands. Meanwhile, in South Australia, a cold case gets a new beginning.
Thanks for coming today.
Senior Constable Robin Ferraro is re-investigating the 9-year-old case of Christine Redford.
It was very unusual. The only thing that's missing from her unit's a set of keys. All her handbags and purses and everything and belongings are still at the unit.
Christine, who was a grief counsellor, was 47 when she vanished from her home in Adelaide's eastern suburbs.
There's no sign of violence at the unit, so it's really a mystery as to what's actually occurred, what's happened to her, as if she just walked out the door and disappeared off the face of the earth.
Robin is about to launch a statewide media blitz to find Christine and is looking for any new lead.
First thing I plan to do is to make contact with her family, in particular her younger sister Carol, and perhaps prompt some memories from her that we can elicit some information from to work with. It'd be great if we could find new lines of inquiry and ultimately provide some closure for the family.
Back in New South Wales, the search for 54-year-old Eric Trist has moved here to Malabar, south of Sydney.
Yeah, he's probably about 6 foot, dark grey, full head of hair. Would you have anybody like that?
No.
Walk around here?
But he could be anywhere over there, mate. It's in the bushes. There's pretty high bushes there. You've got your army gun emplacements up there.
Yeah.
There's a few caves there, but not for living.
Oh, okay, right.
With another freezing night predicted, if Eric is living in bush across the bay, he could be in real strife.
You know, you look around here, over in the scrub over here, this bush, could be anywhere there.
Homeless people have been known to live in these bunkers, dotted along the cliff tops, and that's where police will search next. Meanwhile, in South Australia, Senior Constable Robin Ferraro is on her way to interview Christine Redford's sister, Carol.
There's lots of questions that I'll be asking today, but principally I think the most important one would be what her theory would be on Christine's disappearance. Lovely. Thank
9 years ago, when police told Carol her sister was missing, she just thought she'd gone on a trip.
I think probably initially we just thought, oh, well, she'll be back soon, you know. They'll find her in Sydney and having a holiday, or she'll be at a conference somewhere. I think probably where it really came to pass that, you know, she'd gone when we were cleaning her flat out. And I said to the friend who was helping me, I said, you know what's going to happen? She's going to walk in this door any minute now and say, what the hell do you think you're doing with my stuff? You know? And he just laughed about it. Of course, that never happened. But you just sort of have those moments where you just wait and think, well, and she'll walk in and you'll get this, what are you doing?
And years later, those thoughts still haunt Carol, especially her memory of their last time together.
But yeah, Chris and I had an argument. And then I took her home, and that, like so common, was the last time.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's an all too common story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In New South Wales, on the hunt for Eric Trist, police are about to search the dangerous cliff area south of Sydney.
Got some information, pretty concrete information now, that the missing person is sorting out here in the freezing cold and dreadful conditions.
This is the area, Malabar, Bora Point is up this way.
This area is full of hazards. A rifle range potted with derelict buildings and dangerous shafts.
As long as everyone's got their radios, just be aware of your safety.
It's too big an area of scrub to search by foot. So police trail bikes have been called in, just in case Eric is lying somewhere injured.
There's a few catacombs left over from wartime, so we're going to go through, check through those and see what we can find.
Because the area is so treacherous, Sergeant Thomas has asked for help from waterboard officers who know this place best.
Apparently there's like a bunker system where it's underground, so it's probably a good place to sleep. So the gentleman from the water board is going to go and show us where it is, and we'll go and have a look and see if he's there.
This is the biggest of this type, and then all the rest is underground tunnel.
And it's not just cold in here either. They can hear rats breeding in the walls. And there's more evidence of life. A trail of broken bottles and human waste. There's no doubt that someone's been living here. Question is it Eric? At the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit, the new case of retired truckie Robert Gilmore is the immediate priority, and Kelly is interviewing his frantic wife, Brenda.
When did you last actually speak to him?
He went missing yesterday morning, so it would have been the night before.
63-year-old Robert has dementia. When Brenda couldn't care for him any longer, she placed him in a nursing home. That was almost a week ago. But in his confused state, Robert ran off after only 4 days.
And how did he take it?
Well, apparently that night he tried to get out with the visitors twice on the Friday night.
Oh, okay, on the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't really want to be there.
Having dementia, he changes his mind a lot.
Yeah.
One minute he says, I don't like this place, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And the next minute when you say, is it nice here, Dad? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, okay, so... And he's left in his PJs, our flannelette PJs, is that?
He usually wears a parka like through the day because he loves his parka because it keeps him warm.
Yep.
And we checked his wardrobe out and the parka's still hanging up.
Robert has already spent one risky night on the streets.
Well, we'll be there as soon as we can.
All right.
Okay, see you soon.
Thank you.
In his fragile state, another night could prove too much.
4 degrees last night. He's in nothing but his pyjamas, Hopefully he's somewhere between the home and his old residence where his wife lives at the moment.
Meanwhile, back in South Australia,
And this was the Queen Liz review that she...
in the 9-year search for Christine Redford, Robin and Carol have spent hours looking through albums.
Yeah, she used to go to Perth a lot to visit my sister.
They're hoping that one photo will reveal a witness who may know what happened to Christine.
Do you remember when that would have been, the last time she went to Perth?
1993.
Can you recall at all anyone that might know about what's happened? We're absolutely open for any new information that comes through.
But as hard as Carol tries, she can't find any new clues in the family photos. So she makes this heartfelt plea to her missing sister.
Hi Chris, if you're out there, this is a good time to contact your family, let them know you're okay, and maybe one day we'll have a cuppa together and a drink and talk about what's happening.
In New South Wales, in the case of dementia sufferer Robert Gilmore, Kelly and Steve arrive at the family home to interview his devastated wife. Robert's family reluctantly placed him in a nursing home so he could receive full-time care for his dementia.
Hi, Brenda, is it? Gilmore? Hi, it's Kelly Schofield here from the Missing Persons Unit.
But they never thought for a second that he'd run away.
This is my partner, Steve. He's just going to help out today. Okay, I just want to sit down and we'll get some information. Okay, that's the most current photo that we have of your husband. Is that's the best one, you're right? Okay, we're going to find him. Don't worry about that, okay? Right, we're going to find him.
For Brenda, Robert's wife of 35 years, the decision to put him into a nursing home was the hardest she's ever had to make.
Is that the best photo that you have of him? Oh, that's a great photo. Do you think we might be able to use something like that? Is that all right? Yes. Because that's a nice photo of him.
Robert has now been missing for over 24 hours. When his daughter found out, she began her own frantic search.
Constantly driven around different areas, like areas that we might think that he might have gone to, whether it's back streets, main streets, train stations, creeks, everywhere, and nothing.
How long you lived here? 30?
30 years.
30 years? What about before that?
I lived at Layla Park.
He lived there too?
Yeah, but he wouldn't know up there. He wouldn't.
Oh, it's amazing what they remember when it comes to dementia. They'll go back.
With a lot of things, he's got good long-term memory.
That's what happens.
Short-term is bad.
Their short-term decreases and their long-term comes back really clear to them.
30 years is a long time, but Steve's experience tells him Robert could have returned to their old home in Layla Park.
If you do hear anything at all, just give our office a ring so they can get hold of us.
Give us a call straight away.
Okay.
He's hoping.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
And that's where they're heading now. Meanwhile, in South Australia, on her way back to base, Robin gets an unexpected message on her phone. So she rings the caller, Christine's ex-boyfriend. He has new information about the night she disappeared.
So how would you say her mental state was that night?
Maybe agitated, I suppose you could say, confused maybe.
This wasn't normal for her to be like this.
Well, she sometimes used to get like that. You know?
And as he's talking, the boyfriend remembers a masseuse, an acquaintance of Christine's police have never interviewed.
A lady across the road, she used to get massages from on McGill Road somewhere. That's about it really that I can think of.
A hot new lead, 9 years old.
It's very important to keep an open mind. There's certainly no evidence to suggest that she's been met with foul play. There is a possibility that she may have left to create a new life for herself, trying to identify who this woman was, see if she has any information on Christine prior to her disappearing.
Back in New South Wales, Steve and Kelly are also racing across town to check out Robert's old neighbourhood. Because of his dementia, Robert could have returned here, thinking he still lived in this old house.
Doesn't look like anyone's home.
do you live around the area? Oh, great. We're just looking at, this gentleman used to live here about 30 years ago. Have you seen him?
No, not since he went away.
Oh, okay. He's pretty ill, so we're thinking he may come back down to this area. So if you do see him, please contact, that would be great. He's not in any trouble.
If I see him, gosh.
Yeah, because we just want to make sure he's okay.
Oh, of course, I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
See you later.
While Kelly and Steve continue searching the neighbourhood, back at home, Robert's anxious wife, Brenda, pleads for his safe return.
Please, if anybody's out there and you see my husband, please bring the police. Straight away, thank you.
In Adelaide, with South Australia's Missing Persons Unit, Robin is acting on her new tip from Christine's ex-boyfriend. She's checking houses in the street where Christine Redford's masseuse may have worked.
Just making some inquiries in relation to the disappearance of Christine Redford 9 years ago. You've lived in the area for some time?
For a long time, yeah.
Would you know of anyone that conducts massages?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
It's old-style policing, but still the best way to dig up new information.
A female that conducts massages? No, I don't. No? You might recognise her from this photo.
No.
So far, no luck. But then she meets these two store owners who've been here for over 9 years.
I can only think of one lady that was in that sort of work at the time, and I can get her details for you if you like.
Oh, true. What was she doing, practising massage?
She was working up the road, and she would probably have been one of the only massage people at the time. Certainly, if you're talking about 9 years ago.
Yes.
Robin's cold case is warming up. She now has a name and address for the masseuse.
That's terrific. So I'm just going to follow up with this woman at Campbelltown address and hopefully see what she has to say might be of interest to the case.
Meanwhile, in New South Wales, Kelly and Steve are travelling to the nursing home where Robert Gilmore was last seen.
We're just going to make a few inquiries there and just to see what he may have been wearing at the time. That's not quite clear at the moment, and possibly speak to the last nurse that spoke to him or saw him on the day.
The nursing home manager has already rung the local hospitals, but no one's turned up fitting Robert's description.
The staff have told me, because I've asked them again today about the clothing, that he's wearing grey tracksuit pants. He had on a bluey-grey top coat, and the staff are saying that he had on his yellow, like a baseball cap.
That's a BB baseball cap?
Yeah, it's just like a yellow cap that looks like a baseball cap that he wears around the nursing home.
No, he definitely hasn't taken his wallet or anything like that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think he's got any money with him.
It's now 30 hours without any word, and fears for Robert's well-being are growing.
The main thing that I would be concerned about is how he's being nourished and his fluids. And also, the longer he's lost with the dementia, his confusion will increase, especially if he's in unfamiliar surroundings.
Sure. Right, thank you very much for your time, Glenn. I'll see you later. Bye.
Then, on their way out, Kelly gets news of a possible sighting.
We're just going to follow up some details in regards to another sighting and just see if it's actually him.
In South Australia, on the case of Christine Redford,
We'll see you very soon, perhaps the next 15 minutes.
Robin's tracked down Heather, whom she thinks may have been Christine's masseuse.
Hello. Lovely to meet you. So your two photos. Like, this is 9 years ago, so obviously that's how she was looking around about that time. I think you would recognise her or know of her because she was apparently very bubbly, friendly.
Right.
You don't recognise?
Sorry,
All
I can't help you today.
No, well, appreciate your
Heather
time.
is a masseuse, but not the one they're looking for.
Good luck with your investigation.
Another dead end. And after 9 years, it's back to square one. In New South Wales, Kelly is acting on her new tip-off. She's investigating the sighting of a confused elderly man at this hire place.
Coming in regards to a possible guy that came in yesterday, an elderly fellow that seemed a bit lost.
Yes.
Were you the one that
Yes, I
spoke
was.
to him?
Yep.
And we've got a photo of a fellow that we're looking for at the moment.
Okay.
And we're just wondering if that could have possibly been him?
No, that's not him, I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Yeah.
100%?
100%. That guy's got more hair than the other bloke did.
Okay. No worries.
It's a day full of setbacks. With only a few hours of daylight remaining, Robert is facing his second night on the street.
Thanks a lot.
See you later.
See ya. Unfortunately, it wasn't him, so now we're really concerned that it's going to be another long, cold night and his welfare. We'll still keep following all other avenues.
In South Australia, Robin's heading across town to interview Carmel White, who reported Christine missing 9 years ago.
She may be able to remember something about Christine and prior to her disappearance that she's gotten to tell us about in the past and help us get some further information for this investigation. Hello, Carmel.
Surprisingly, it took Carmel a full week to realise her best friend had vanished.
I'd just come out of hospital and she just seemed a little bit disappointed that she couldn't talk to me at the time. And when I rang her in a couple of days' time, there was just nothing happened. She didn't answer the phone, and then a week had gone by and that's when I started to get really concerned and expressed that to the police department.
That was almost a decade ago. Carmel is still coming to terms with it.
You know, I just can't imagine anyone wanting to hurt her because, like I said, she was a very open, very kind, very loving person, very empathetic towards people's needs.
What's your feelings on the theory that she's gone away to perhaps create a new life for herself?
See, that just doesn't seem possible to me.
No.
It's not, like I said, it's out of character for her. She's not that type of person.
Okay.
She would let somebody know. She simply would let somebody know. Excuse me. That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, don't apologise.
After so long, the pain is still very raw for Christine's best friend.
I'd just like to appeal to Chris, if you're out there, people care about you and love you and just want to know where you are. So if you could contact us, that would be great.
Back in New South Wales, in the cliff-top bunkers of Malabar, Mandy has already spent hours searching for 54-year-old Eric Trist. From the top, it's a heavenly view.
Good thing is he's not in this one.
But down below, it's hell on earth. These tunnels go on forever.
Okay.
And they're what our homeless call home.
I find that really disturbing to think that, you know, there's people actually living down here and coming down here and spending time down here. I mean, I'm surprised there's no rats.
Yeah, we had wild dogs up here, but not many rats.
Yeah.
Those motorbikes. Yes, the trail bikes.
While the trail bikes can still be heard above, Mandy's immediate focus is the water flowing below.
It's fairly deep, isn't it?
That's what all that is.
And her worry is that Eric may have fallen in. Off the New South Wales coast near Port Stephens, water police are still searching the rugged shoreline and islands for Victorian yachty Ron Anderson. It's certainly a perilous job. Police have spent hours avoiding the breakers and rocks.
We're just going to stick in close to these rocks here and so we can have a good look because these boats don't draw a lot of water.
After almost a day of searching 20 kilometres of coastline, police reluctantly call it a day.
Ian, how did you go?
Checked all the rocks, all the little outcrops, the islands, and didn't locate anything. Nothing wrong with the report. So if there's something there along the lines of the dinghy, we certainly would have found it.
We'll go back to the station and reassess. Thanks for the effort. We'll stand down for a while.
It's a heartbreaking result for Ron's family and, after one of the biggest ever searches in the area, disappointing for police.
Lots of people go missing and then turn up again, you know, one day, so hopefully that will happen in this circumstance, but to be honest, it's totally out of character how we found Mr Anderson's yacht. Unfortunately, you know, I don't think it's going to be a good outcome.
Back in the hills overlooking Malabar, after hours in the saddle, police also call a halt to their search for Eric Trist.
We searched as far as we could. We went through a lot of terrain we wouldn't normally go through, and unfortunately we haven't come across him at this stage. But there's always hope. There's always another day. We can always come back tomorrow and have another look.
But just as the search winds down,
All we can do is just head back to the car park, I think.
Yeah.
Inspector Todd Cunningham gets a promising lead.
There may be a person that lives on the golf course, Randwick Golf Course. Been seen up there when people have been walking their dogs.
It's all Gary's got to work with, so he has to get to the golf course fast.
From what we've got in the description, it could very well be Eric, you know, but we're just going to keep our fingers crossed. We're just looking for a bloke. We've had a report that someone's sleeping on the course here. This is an old photo. What's the chap up there look like?
Oh, he's a scruff and he's got a beard. He's about that size it could possibly.
Yeah.
You know, he's dirty. He's been around here for months.
There's a good chance it could be him.
So far, the time frame fits.
Yeah, you got any access to get through? We just got to get onto the golf.
So Gary and Mandy race off to the third hole before the man leaves. They could be just seconds away from finding Eric Trist.
Hi, mate, how you going?
This could be him. Meanwhile, in South Australia, in the search for Christine Redford, Robin feels her last chance of finding Christine now lies in the statewide media campaign.
Just about to open an email we received from the forensic artist.
A forensic specialist has digitally aged Christine's 9-year-old photo.
Done a fantastic job. This is excellent. You can see that there's definite likeness. Wow, that's just terrific to think that that's what Christine may look like now, 9 years on after she disappeared, and people may well recognise her now from this photo.
Christine's disappearance was headline news in South Australia.
Advertiser Police around, Sam speaking.
So Robin asks the advertiser to help again.
How would you feel about perhaps getting the image put in the paper again?
Oh, absolutely. We can push it along with something new.
Terrific.
Fantastic.
Perhaps if I fax that through to you now, the image, would that be okay?
That would be wonderful.
While Robin waits for the afternoon edition, at home, Christine's sister Carol continues her own wait for news.
If anybody out there has seen Christine or knows anything of what might have happened with her all those years ago, we'd really love to hear something, anything, even if it's just where she is now. If you could contact your local police with any information, anything at all would be really good.
Meanwhile, at the Randwick Golf Course in New South Wales, Gary's hoping this man, caught napping at the third hole, is Eric Trist.
Can you tell us what your name is? Stephen. Where are you born at?
1950.
Yeah. 1950.
1950. That would make this bloke 57. Eric is 54.
What country were you born in, mate? You
Hungry.
Hungry?
Hungry.
Oh, yeah.
For Gary and Mandy, it's not going well at all.
Oh, no, well, you just thought you might have been someone else, but it's obviously you're not our man, so we'll leave you alone.
Eric is still missing and probably living like this bloke.
How long since you had something to eat or drink? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a blow. That's not our missing person, but we'll just have a bit of a check with this chap just to make sure that he's all right, the person we've got here, and that he's not a missing person. We don't know about it. And we'll just keep looking for Eric.
Back at home, Eric's brother Stanley is just grateful police are still on the case.
Just ring somebody, ring the police, ring us. What more can I say? We want you back. We want to know what's going on.
But across town, Kelly has had some good news. 36 hours after he walked out of the nursing home, Robert Gilmore has been found.
He was found in the back of a industrial estate at Auburn last night, and we're just going to go to the nursing home just to check on Bob and see how he's going and make sure he's okay.
But it's still unclear how Robert got to the industrial estate where he slept on a slab of concrete.
Hi, Mr. Gilmore, how are you? Hello. Sorry to interrupt your morning tea.
Yeah, you're all right.
Are we right to sit down? You okay if we sit down with you?
By all means.
Yeah, so we've just been really worried about you and we just wanted to come in and see that everything was okay and you're safe and well.
Yeah, I am, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
So did you have a plan? Were you heading off anywhere in particular?
No.
Just wanted to have a bit of a wander?
Yeah, just wanted to have a bit of a break.
But if you are going to have a break next time, you will let someone know.
I will, yeah.
Yeah.
Dementia is such a heartbreaking condition.
You can organise something so you can get out and about.
And the road ahead won't be
So
easy.
that they know and make sure you're looked after. And
But with the support of the nursing home and the love of his family, Robert should do just fine.
Hello, Mrs. Gill.
Well, you We've missed you. We've missed you. All right? It's good to see you, love.
It's been a gut-wrenching couple of days for everyone.
We're all happy now and safe and well. I mean,
I'm just grateful that Dad was found safe and well. And I'm grateful for everybody who was involved. Just glad you're back.
But it's the type of result Kelly and Jane hope for every day they come to work.
It's great news. Bob's been returned back to the nursing home. He's safe and sound and back with his family. As a result of his dementia, we've given him the Safely Home bracelet. It's a program that enables people with dementia and their families to be located quickly with a code number so he doesn't have to spend another night out in the cold.
now you don't realise how much you love someone until something like this happens. I mean, everyone takes, I think, everyone for granted. But when this happens, you realise how much you love them.
Missing for 6 months, and police finally zero in on their man, but they may be too late.
He's not up there. His gear's there, but he's not in.
In the Northern Territory, a tourist vanishes without a trace. 20,000 kilometres away in England, his desperate family pleads for help.
What we're asking for is even those people that we have spoken to really dig deep and try and help us out here.
And the case of 80-year-old train lover Melvie Cooper. She caught her train, arrived home, and then vanished.
Now we're really starting to get worried. It's dark outside. We don't want her to spend another night.
Also, the disturbing case of missing 14-year-old Danae Atkinson. Gary has had a gutful of this teenage cone of silence.
You sure you're not with her? No. You're certain?